All right. And we come back to Strixhaven, to our two planeswalkers. You guys have currently gone over your latest hurdle of your first assignments and your first study roles. It is now about 3 days past then, about in the middle of the first sort of week of classes. And I would love if you guys could talk a little bit about what you think your morning is going like as you sort of get ready to go to another world again. One for the first time this time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think Falyn is like going through the process of getting her bag ready. And I like to imagine that she's like picking up her dress on the way to meet with the Kenriths and Motiva.
Okay.
And I think on the way she's talking with people, I think she asks all of her flatmates if any of them would like anything from Eldraine.
Very fun. I have not thought about what literally any of them would like as gifts.
That is fair.
I think Chad would like anything. I think Chad would just like the fact that you got him something. I think Zimone would probably like a ribbon, like a hair ribbon.
Wow.
And I think Selwyn is the type of person that would say that she doesn't want anything. And after this, we can continue that RP if you would so like, Flynn. Yeah.
I'm also gonna try and make a stop by Eleni and give them kisses goodbye and ask if they would like anything.
Eleni would of course like something. I think Eleni doesn't know a specific thing that they would want, but you would know that their taste kind of skews into the more elaborate.
Nice.
It's common trivia for a character to be like, oh, I don't want a fancy gift, I just want something practical. Eleni would rather have a gift that you can't use but is extremely pretty.
World's most expensive ruby book rest.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Slay. What do you think Motiva wants to do? Kind of like it's not immediately before setting out. You basically have the whole morning. You guys can go whenever, since you have to kind of travel over there.
I think I think that Miva's going to close her window.
Mm-hmm.
No visitors allowed.
No visitors allowed.
She's going to tell Killian that she's not gone off to die and she is off to another plane.
It feels just as weird every time you talk about it.
That's good, I think.
Have fun.
I don't want. And she just like closes the door. She's like obviously not mad with him. Mm-hmm. She's just like, it's like obvious that she's just like thinking about this trip, and he can see like the face play just like, yeah, no, I don't know, man. To just leaving.
I think my favorite thing about Motiva and Falyn is that it's not that they don't think casually, but whenever they are thinking, I feel like you can always really see it on their face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I try to make this like a specific thing that Motiva always like. Whenever I make Motiva like hide her expression, I will specifically say she's hiding her expression. Like she explicitly does not hide her expressions. She's going to tell Mina and Grayson that she's leaving now. Don't come near her stuff. Heart. Mina, I love you. Please tell me if I miss anything cool. Heart.
So sorry, what did you say to him?
That she'll be leaving today and she'll be back with the stuff later. Probably not today. But also asking like, hey, if I've missed anything cool, tell me.
Oh, of course. Oh, Mina kind of gives you a smile and says, don't worry, we'll keep you in the loop.
Thank God. I think I want to talk to River later, but I need to remember that in the near future, Motiva wants to talk to River.
Don't worry, you technically have 9 months.
Yep. Got all the time in the world, baby.
Sorry if that joke wasn't funny.
No, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Motiva will, like, hop on Brim, go find Falin, and then also pick up her stuff and meet with the Kenriths.
Yeah, Slate. You can definitely meet up with Falin on Prismari. It is not hard to find either of you, personally.
Yeah.
No.
Especially not when you're on Prismari.
Yeah. Oh no, how are we gonna find the lady floating on a broom? How are we gonna find the lady who's literally just floating? Oh no.
Oh,
What?
Oh, no.
In a sea of red and blue, how can I ever find white, black, and purple? But yeah, you guys meet up together pretty easily. If there's anything you guys want to do or talk about before you go find the Kenriths, I think that they kind of just like passively wait like at their dorm room after getting some honestly not even getting that much stuff together. So it's really whatever you want to do before you go meet with them.
Motiva's gonna look to Flynn and just be like, hey, do you have like, hey, I don't mean to be rude. Do you have like self-defense on your side? Like, will you be okay coming here?
As long as I can cast spells.
I don't know.
I have brought my holy symbol, I've brought my book of prayer, I've brought my mentalist staff. She holds up a fucking stick.
You
Love your
should
stick.
hide. You should hide that. She like points to the holy symbol. You should hide that. Probably.
She waits a second and she looks like a little disappointed. And then she takes off her little Luxon necklace and tucks it in her bag.
Okay.
Easy to grab for later.
Yeah. We'll be okay.
We'll be fine.
Sure.
She's gonna hold Motiva's hand.
It's sweaty.
It's sweaty and she's
it
got
is
webs.
It is probably really gross. I'm not gonna.
We will stay together.
I don't know about that. Actually, I think you're lying.
You would question my honesty?
I would question that you're not going to run off with a certain Kenrith boy. Oh, the honesty suddenly is disappearing from your lips. Oh man, let's go get that dress. God, we're getting the dress.
Okay. I was giving Sarah a moment to clap back for Lynn, but she's utterly silent. As you guys go and pick up the dress that you're going to wear while you're over there. And you pick it up fairly easily. You pay with however you pay. Um, and you go to meet up with the twins. And as I said, they're kind of idly. Uh, they're kind of just like idly standing, and I want to say maybe talking like outside of the dorms, packing extremely light, um, swords at their hip, and sort of chit-chatting as they see you walk up. Um, both of them go to smile, but there is sort of a hiccup in it when Will meets your eye, Falin, as well as Rowan meeting yours, Motiva. As some of the feelings between this group has been a little conflicted as of recently. But it's not enough to where they treat you badly, necessarily. It's just something that you all are kind of aware of. But you walk up, and Rowan kind of folds her arms together and says, "So, I hope you're ready to lose those voices."
Yes.
I better hear you from where you're sitting.
I will scream the loudest scream I've ever screamed.
You have no idea how loud I can scream.
That's heartening, don't worry. And she goes to kind of clap you both on the back. Far gentler than you think that she could, but she's being nice. And she says, all right, well, we already have the scroll, so we can leave whenever. And then she kind of goes to look at Will, and Will kind of gives a sort of humoring smile to Motiva and says, if you're not comfortable with horseback, it might be a bit of a long walk, but I'm sure the travel party can accommodate.
She just takes out her broom and she like wiggles it.
Okay.
There's magic here, right?
There
magic?
is. Magic items, yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Will we be immediately popping up in front of the party?
no. As these scrolls work, we're going to be taken home.
Oh, okay. Motiva immediately disguises herself.
Oh, yeah. Phone's gonna put the little hat of disguise on.
Okay. You guys immediately change before their eyes, and they both kind of blink with surprise. But Rowan kind of gives a laugh and says, well, we should have known they'd be smarter than us, huh? And Rowan kind of goes to talk behind her hand at you, Motiva, and say, if people ask if you're a witch, some people think it's cool. Try to talk it up.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had an unfortunate accident at a lake. I
mean,
didn't
you
feel
also
like
could spin
covering
it.
up my hands.
You could also spin a yarn that you killed a witch. I'm sure people would think that's even cooler.
There is a certain witch I would not mind seeing bat with a broom, who is a bit too close to this campus for me to feel comfortable talking about, and has a few too many corpses under her retinue.
Well, with that, let's go and hopefully have a good time.
A good, merry time where nothing bad happens.
Where nothing bad happens and nobody is weird. And you see suddenly Rowan is a little apprehensive to be going home. But she goes to kind of grab the scroll and starts to recite the words if you guys get ready to be teleported.
Do you have anything to say, Sarah, before we are fucking yoded?
No, I think Flynn's ready to go and is trying very hard to stay optimistic because 2 of our traveling party are now.
Now what?
Where's the fun? Totally normal human.
So normal.
So normal.
It's okay. You're with the twins who are certified normal Eldraine people. Thumbs up.
That are totally liked and not controversial in any sense of the word.
Oh boy, that's definitely not going to be a thing that comes up at all. All right. So hold on, I'm going to pause so I can change over the backgrounds and change over the sprites really quick. Okay. And we are back as you guys sort of become more and more familiar with this sort of magically induced plane hopping. And you come up and Arcavios is bright. It is unavoidable how bright it is, how colorful everything is, how fantastical it is. But even so, you all come up in a sort of entryway. It is a rustic sort of walkway that has a little stoop for boots and shoes, and it's made of this sort of worn, whorled wood. And you see on one wall is a pastoral painting of patchwork fields and a beautiful blue sky. And on the other end of the wall is a simple window that looks up into a view of almost the exact same. As you are hundreds of feet above a beautiful rolling landscape of patchwork golden fields and painted clouds on a blue sky and a bright sun. As a breeze sort of makes the curtains flutter with it. And it's not the view that you would expect of Castle Ardenvale, but both Will and Rowan move through it as if it is second nature, as if they know where everything is. As they kind of quickly go to move through this empty, what looks like farmhouse, to go to bedrooms to fetch armor and bridles and personal effects while kind of talking and almost leaving you both standing in this doorway. How are you guys feeling? What are you guys doing?
I have something I know I want Motiva to say, but please go ahead.
I don't think Flynn is saying anything right off the bat. I think she's just looking at everything, TM.
Amazing news. Motiva probably looks to Flynn immediately and is just like, if they leave us alone for more than 5 minutes, I get to steal everything.
Motiva.
This is like, she's like looking at her and it's like kind of like a threat to Flynn too.
What?
If you think I won't, you're wrong.
The problem is that I think you would.
I can just leave. I don't need a scroll.
Do you want to?
They have 4 more minutes. She's just like looking at like, you said there's like a tapestry?
It's a painting, and it kind of mirrors the view from the window right across from it.
Yeah, she's like looking at it and her like foot is tapping on the ground.
I feel like at some point while they're waiting, Flynn starts like thinking, and she like looks to Motiva. She says, "You have a story."
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yes.
no idea what mine should be. What if people start asking things?
How good are you at lying?
Not very.
Like, actually bad?
I guess I'm okay. I'm like a... I don't know, I guess if you had to apply a number to it, it'd be like a +2.
Oh my god,
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Sarah Weeks, no, why did you do that to her?
It's in
She
character.
doesn't lie!
I do. Citation needed.
I never get tired of the bit that's like in character. If you had to put a number to it, here's a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
Motif is gonna like look and like she starts to look a little bit pale and she's just like, oh no. Well, I was going to say that I just lived in the woods. So realistically, you could say that as well. You could also just say that you're schoolmates of Will and Rowan if they don't disprove it. Oh, fuck me. Okay, she's gonna like take Belin's arm and she's gonna like drag towards where the fucking twins were.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of walk through this entryway and you come into, normally in a house like this, you might expect like a sitting room, a dining room, any sort of thing like that. But what the first room that you actually come to when this hallway opens up is a kitchen. And you see that it's the kind of kitchen that has its dining table in the center of it. Small, can only really account for maybe 6-7 chairs. Most notably, it does have 6 chairs. And it sort of has the same sort of feeling of like this open window, gauzy curtain. And you are overtaken again by this area that you are in being so simplistic. You see a cast iron skillet hanging on the wall. You see none of the wood of the cabinets are painted. You see messily embroidered stitchwork hung up in frames where there's empty space. You see on the edge of this door frame that you pass through, actually, Fulin, you notice that there are notch marks in it.
Aww.
But you would have to go a little bit farther to find whatever bedroom or closet they've sort of scrambled themselves into.
Text him.
I should not have taken a bite just then, I'm sorry.
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm gonna fucking throw you.
Flynn is going to like look to her and say, isn't he just in one of these rooms?
What if we open the wrong door?
Hey,
There's 6 tables! There's 6 seats at the table! That's 4 people we can meet!
well, I'm sure it's just their family.
What if
I'm
there's
sure
a
they're friendly at the very
teenager?
least. Are you scared of teenagers?
You should be.
I guess.
As you guys are sort of having this conversation, you kind of hear from one of the myriad halls from this sort of central point of the kitchen, squabbling between the twins, very characteristic of them when you are near them for long periods of time. And you kind of see Will get like... There's no way that's not dramatic to say this, but he gets like shoved out of a room and he kind of stumbles a little bit as like Rowan goes to move past him and say with sort of this air of finality, we're done. We can go and meet up with the procession. We don't want to miss it. Rowan looking at Will.
I know that reference.
I know that, right?
I also know that reference.
But yeah, they sort of come to come get you, and Will kind of grumbles but follows behind and goes to say, well, now we just have to extract ourselves and get down to the courtyard. and we have to go through the inner courtyard to go to the outer courtyard to go meet by the gate, and we should be able to find the procession. It's not going to be that big, but it will be enough people to where the going should be relatively quick and safe.
I need a
She-
story.
Uh?
I don't know what to tell people if they start asking questions. I'm not good at
Oh.
lying.
Oh, the twins look at each other, and there's this sort of like a taunting dismay. Rowan.
No, go ahead.
Rowan looks almost like, I don't want to say like super annoyed because that's not correct, but I think that you can glean that she looks frustrated and hoped that people just wouldn't ask, or like it would just be easy to be like, oh, but Will, who understands the machinations of deception, is just like, oh fuck.
Motiva just goes up to the table and she just starts knocking.
Well,
Did you happen to tell anybody that you know people from out of town?
I did tell people that I was bringing guests. Only really our inner circle know about the Planeswalker thing. There's not really an issue with, you, Motiva. It's very easy to say that you could have came from one of the small cantons and villages from Ardenvale. And then both of the twins kind of look over to Flynn, and like you see like Rowan kind of go to like tap her foot as if she's thinking, and she says, the awkward thing is elves really only are in Lochthwain or the wilds.
If she just stops at saying she's one of your school friends, do you think people would buy it? They know you've been gone.
I mean, we definitely could say that we were tutored together. If people might be a bit curious about your upbringing, but I mean, you could.
Just don't ask them to tell you to pick up a sword.
You could always say you were wild-born and settled down in Ardenvale. But you feel like even as Rowan says that, she doesn't sound too sure. Or you could always tell everyone who isn't an elf that you're from Lochthwain, and everyone who's from Lochthwain that you're from Ardenvale.
I have a question. So Flynn is an elf. Is this like classic elves TM where they're just humans with pointy ears? Or
No.
does she have like...
Go ahead.
Well, like, I'm asking for the sake of like Exandria.
Oh, for like, what do you mean?
You mean like
in
appearance-wise?
Yeah, because like I've always noticed that like all the elves in Exandria just kind of look like sharp humans.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you first.
They're pretty much just humans but pointy. With the addition of like pallid elves, and then for drow, it is canonical that they do actually have sharp incisors.
Oh, nice. That's fun. Eldraine elves also, they kind of just look in line with how elves look in general. I don't think that they look weird for elves. Elves in Eldraine don't look like Fae. Those are two separate entities. But they are associated with the Fae just because a lot of elves are in the wild, and also, elf overlords from back in the day, yada yada.
Motiva's gonna look to Flynn and she's gonna smile and she's gonna say, Flynn, would you like to fulfill a classic fairy tale from my home?
I would love to hear it.
You should turn your hat into a bonnet or a veil and I will help you hide your futures.
But couldn't I just? I mean, if I need to hide my features more, then I can just use the head to go like full human.
But here's the problem, and this is a problem I might run into. The more magic that's on you, I'm worried people are going to be more and more suspicious. And I can deal with suspicion because I know how to lie. You don't.
I think that that's a fair thing to think. I will say I don't think that the average person will be able to even tell that you both have magic on you except for the features that are weird. Because if somebody can tell that you're illusioned, they would just straight up see through your illusion, not like
Oh, I'm not worried about normal people.
That's totally fair. I'm just saying that, like, I think being worried that people can see through your illusion is valid. I don't think that, like, being like, how do I word this? I don't think that, like, I don't think that it's I don't think it's a thing you'll have to worry about of people, like, sensing that magic is just on you.
Mhm.
Unless you, like, act really sus and then people are like, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'm gonna pretend Motiva didn't say that, and I think she's just gonna suggest just don't lie. Just say that you're classmates of Will and Rowan.
Okay. Avoiding I can do.
Tutored by the same people. There aren't schools here. We had the same mentor.
Same mentor. That's technically correct.
We studied together, yes.
Yes. That is not a lie.
That is not a lie. And it's not a weird thing to say.
If anybody gets too into detail,
You can call them a fucking weirdo, actually.
I will call them a fucking weirdo and I will walk away.
Yes.
Rowan will speak up and say, if people harass you too much, tell them that you're here to watch the fights, and if you miss your favorite fighters, you'll be very upset. And that's very rude.
Okay.
People hate being rude here.
Oh, that's good.
I don't believe you. And she's looking like directly at both of them.
There is social ramifications to not being polite. There.
Taking advantage of them while you both are gone from home, then I see.
What?
That's really funny.
I am so fucking funny.
I did not understand what was funny about it. I'm silly.
Go
ahead.
No,
Speak.
What I understood it as was Motiva being like, "Oh, you're supposed to be polite here. I see you have been taking advantage of the absence of that rule and Strix by being rude."
Yeah. Rowan's gonna give you a noogie, Motiva.
Still take the noogie, but Rowan feels it with like every like a noogie, like the horn's still there.
Yeah, literally. Anyway, hopefully, you both will be the least exciting thing that people will have to pay attention to while we're away.
Because it's gonna be you.
Of course. I'm gonna win.
What are we winning?
You see that Will goes to put a hand on Rowan's shoulder and say, "That is a long and complicated answer, and we need to meet the procession. So we are not left behind, right?" You see Rowan goes to swat at him. But if you guys go, you will be led out into Ardenvale, the castle, and also the settlement. And once you guys are on the road, Rowan can explain to you what they're trying to win.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So you come through, and Rowan was not joking that you have to kind of go through these sort of multiple levels of court, kind of like in their own their own levels, and it takes a sort of long meandering to really get down to the gates. But you get this sort of feeling of actually being shown around by a local with how many shortcuts and quick corners, or like they're not using a lot of the main roads, and it doesn't seem like it's like that they're trying to hide. It's that these legitimately seem like quicker or easier to use. And as you sort of come down, it's a procession of, I want to say maybe like 30 people. It's not super huge, but it's also not really like small. So people kind of coming in and like folding into it doesn't seem strange, as it's sort of like this like caravan of like some wagons that are mostly things, and then like horses for people who are riding, and then some walking alongside. Of note, some of the NPCs that you notice, since all of you have actually seen the picture that Rowan has, a torn out page of like a book that has a painting of them, you recognize High King Alginus Kenrith alongside his wife, the Queen Consort Lyndon Kenrith. As well as two younger children, one sort of preteen age and one under the age of 10, with sort of mixed features of the both of them. As well as you notice, for like a split second, Rowan kind of like makes eye contact with what looks to be like a sort of like a healer or a medic, who has this sort of like beautiful white unicorn, and you see that she has this sort of like dark complexion, and these sort of coiled braids, but they don't go and talk. I would love if you guys would tell me what you guys would do, or how you guys have been imagining you kind of integrate yourself into this travel party.
I imagine Philin is kind of just following the twins' lead. And if she, like, bumps into anybody, or if anybody, like, looks at her, then she'll, like, wave and smile.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that you would get a horse? Do you think you would walk? Do you think that, do you think that you try to keep from talking to the people around you?
I definitely don't think she's starting conversations, at least right now. I feel like she'd want to try to ride a horse. I don't think she'd be able to.
That's definitely fair. Yeah, you definitely can do that. You kind of stick relatively close to the twins. By the time they get to this sort of procession, since it's sort of like an enclosed group, they don't go out of their way to hover around the both of you. But they definitely don't like discourage you from sticking near them, if that makes sense. Only really peeling off from the both of you whenever either of them wants to talk to, like, their parents. But what about you, Motiva?
I think that Motiva is mostly walking. If she thinks she's falling behind, then she'll take out her broom to, like, catch up. But I think otherwise she's kind of just like looking at everybody. This is, to put it bluntly, I feel like looking at Eldraine would be really strange for Motiva, because this is like shit you see in a book.
Yeah, it's like, it's not even like Lord of the Rings fantasy. It's like medieval knights. Like, you've seen movies with people dressed like this. You are seeing like like this weird dissonance of like pop cultural knowledge of like the medieval time period and people who are like living it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's also very interesting to me, for someone like Motiva to see this, because like these people like live and breathe like on their mounts, if that makes sense. So like they are like moving these animals and moving on these animals like it doesn't take anything. It's not just like they're using it as a mode of like transportation, but like I don't know how to describe it. I hope that I'm illustrating what I'm saying properly.
They are companions. They are not pets.
They seem to almost be like on the same wavelength, and like a single shift of the reins, not even a tug, can make them do really minute movements, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is
Yeah.
fascinating.
100%. I think that Motiva's like staring at them. I think she wishes that she could take pictures, but otherwise she stays like quiet.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody looks at her, she just kind of like squints. Like they're the weird one for looking at her.
That's totally fair enough. It definitely like it you guys sort of almost self-separating yourselves. Honestly goes pretty well considering what Motiva was telling to Flynn, like don't lie, try not to talk to people too much. Because none of the people in this procession are going out of their way to like talk to you, even though you're very aware that you're in their periphery as people they don't know. Um, but for some reason or another, nobody quite feels comfortable approaching either of you. Um, but like I said earlier, if you guys try to revisit the Grand Tourney and what it stands for and what like you win, you definitely can go back up to the twins and they can tell you a little bit about it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you go back up and you go to kind of reiterate your question, like, oh, like what are we trying to win? Like what's the point? Um, they would kind of explain, and I'll do this kind of like as an overarching explanation and not like in character quotes necessarily. It is a grand tourney. It's basically like it's a melee and jousting. There's like a couple different um, categories basically. You can join multiple of them obviously, but they're different styles of combat and fighting. Um, but the point is it's not, there is technically people who are like crowned winners, but what it really is to kind of get a certain number of people who are considered the strongest in the tournament. And some of them can get renown where they're from. There's a lot of things like bet, there's favor, coronets. You're familiar with that concept, Motiva, from pop culture. Um, but the biggest thing is that if you are kind of considered of note in this tourney, you are given the option to attempt the Trial of Courage, which is how you win knighthood at Embereth.
Oh. That's cute. Sounds dangerous.
I was about to say, tell me how you really feel, Motiva.
I
I mean, it can be. Knighthood in general is dangerous.
am presuming there are medics and healers on site at this event, yes?
Yes, we have medics and healers, both. Magical healing is very plentiful and common here. And you see that her eyes kind of go to look over to the side, kind of sweeping over the procession, but not really seeming to find what she's looking for, before looking ahead and saying, "It sounds a lot worse than it is. Trust me."
Well, I guess it must be if this has been a thing that has been happening for so long.
Yeah, about yearly, I want to say. It's one of the sort of key holidays. There are local ones, of course, but for court, there is sort of one main event that each court holds. That kind of requires everyone, including the High King, to go visit, and this is one of them.
Well, I've never seen real jousting with my eyes, so this hopefully will just be a very interesting day.
Yes, I think it will be very exciting.
Oh, it will be. Oh, you're in for a treat. And you see that, like, Rowan almost kind of, like, turns a little bit in her saddle to slow down, to kind of keep a pace with the both of you, and kind of talks. I want to say that she almost, like, gushes about Embereth and, like, these sorts of, like, tourneys. And you can really see the sort of, like, excitement and, like, fire in her about it, which is fun because I feel like it almost shows a youthfulness to her that almost reminds the both of you that all three of you are not that old, all things considered, despite everything that you've been through.
Motiva's gonna look around and, like, does she see anybody in, like, particular looking at them?
I'm gonna roll you perception.
Oh.
What's your bonus to perception?
Not good, mind your business. 7.
Okay. You see every once in a while that people will sort of glance over to you, especially whenever you, like, are talking to, like, one of the twins. A lot of it seems like it's not, like, negative. It almost seems like a little bit of interest, but you can kind of denote a little bit of wariness. Of note, though, you kind of see that same woman, that sort of black woman with the curled braids on her unicorn, is watching you a bit more intently than some of the others in the procession, but she is on the other side of this group.
Jesus.
Seemingly among other people sort of wearing the same robes that she's wearing, which seems to be a sort of uniform. And to be fair, most of the knights who are actually knighted are also wearing armor that is the same. You all stand out very much. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You all stand out very much, not just by your features, but because you, the twins, and then the rest of the royal family are, like, some of the only people not dressed in part of an order. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. She was gonna look to Rowan and she's gonna, like, not point, but she's gonna, like, eye point to, like, the girl and just be like, why? Do you have, like, an admirer or something? Should I, like, back away?
You don't have to
Am I
worry
gonna get
about
fucking stabbed? Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
She doesn't look back whenever you were, like, obviously, like, gesturing over to something, as if she knows.
Does Falin have anything to say before Motiva is stupid?
I actually, because Will has talked to Falin about Cerise, like, a little bit.
Yeah, you've heard mention of Charisse.
Would I be able to recognize that this is her?
I will say that, like, not with certainty necessarily, but you have not heard of mention of any other notable people in Rowan's life that's not her family.
Context clues.
Context clues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, we were just saying you could probably find out through context clues.
Yeah, like
Okay,
you don't know 100%, but you don't know anybody else. Like, you haven't heard mention of anybody else important to Rowan that's not in her family besides Cherise.
Nice. I think Philona's gonna try and like sidle up next to Motiva and kind of like try and whisper so that nobody else could hear.
Yeah, do you think that you kind of slow down to get some space between you guys and Rowan?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, awesome. She keeps moving at her normal pace. What that means is, we'll figure that out later.
What the fuck?
I think that's Cerise.
I need you to know, I only talked to the twins a little bit.
They used to be friends. They kind of drifted apart after everything. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure where they're at right now. In terms of like, yeah.
Motiva just stares at the sky like, a faux pas! I've committed a faux pas!
I wanted you to know that.
I was gonna ask y'all to take a picture together. She like slows down and she like lays her back on the broom and she's just like, oh.
The cardinal sin, trying to talk about a thing somebody doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah, but she didn't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they don't talk about it a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Philona's just gonna kind of like try and pat Motiva's arm. It should be fine. Hopefully.
I might wither and die.
No, don't do that.
Okay. She just sits back up.
We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time.
Having a good time. Having a good time. Yeah, so you guys spend the rest of your sort of procession in relative peace. It takes about half a day to get there, so you guys actually reach Embereth as the sort of sun turns the sky this sort of like bright, fiery, orangey red that is a beautiful contrast to the sort of like jutting, dark, mountainous biome you've sort of found yourself in. I'm gonna pause really quick. Alright, and you guys sort of come up these sort of rocky crags in this sort of mountainous region full of heat and smoke and the distant sounds of people and shouting and metal. The almost brutalist style of Embereth is stark compared to the homely but elegant Ardenvale. And you guys come in to this sort of huge proving ground. Calling it a coliseum or an arena is incorrect because it is the entire plain before the castle, with seating and buildings and outcroppings sort of built around this huge open space. And as you get closer, you see the hard-packed earth is modeled. You guys are all led to a very specific section. You see that sort of the Ardenvale court section, but also it has like each of the courts basically in my brain, right? There is seating for everybody, and then in these sort of four corners are spots for the courts of each of the other courts. And then there's this sort of central forefront section for the Court of Embereth. So this whole procession is kind of moved toward the section where the Court of Ardenvale goes. But you guys are basically shown by the twins to seats very close to where they're at, but not necessarily like assimilated amongst them. Which is kind of one of the more polite places to put you that will keep you kind of out of people's attention. But depending on like what you guys would like, you guys can sit closer or try to move farther away. Would you stick closer to the Ardenvale courts, or do you think that you would put more space and sort of walk around? I would love to hear your thoughts on like how your characters are feeling, I guess, in this sort of new atmosphere.
I feel like Flynn wants to walk around, but she's gonna wait and see what Motiva does.
No pressure.
Because she wants to stay with you. She doesn't want to wander off and leave you alone.
You should not be worrying about me. I can lie. I can flee and run.
Well, yeah, but you were being nervous before this, so now she's like, oh, I gotta stay with my friend.
I think Miva is kind of just taking everything in. Like I said, she would find all of this extremely unfamiliar, kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, I definitely can see that, honestly. It's... even the air sort of has, like, this sort of heaviness to it. Especially whenever you think about, like, how Motiva feels about, like, blood sport, combative sport, fighting for the sake of fighting. And fighting to a certain degree. Because this isn't... You are very familiar with how strong the twins are. Because you fight with them every day. You fought with them for a whole year and you guys have gotten stronger together. This is not Dueling Club. This is not that scale at all. And I feel like the longer you look at the sort of proving ground, the more and more the variations of color on the sand start to look like blood.
Yikes.
Yikes. Yikes-a-rody.
So do you
I think she is
ahead?
staying sat.
Staying sat? Okay. You can definitely stay sat. That is not a problem. Sorry, I'm getting coffee, everybody. Go ahead, Flynn.
Okay. Flynn will stay sat with her, and she's looking at everyone and everything.
Okay. Awesome. So this is whenever I get to the point where a lot of my narration is going to kind of be very general, outside of stuff that you're doing. Since neither of you are fighting, none of the fights are going to necessarily have these really elaborate narrations. But you see very quickly as like the twins and basically anybody who was uniformed with the Ardenvale court, except for like a few personal guards, a few Griffin Riders. They sort of peel off to go into sections where you assume fighters and people who are on standby kind of go to wait for fightings to start. Both of the twins kind of come over to see you before it starts. Will doesn't look apprehensive, but he also isn't like super excited, if that makes sense. He's not as excited as Rowan. This is just an event for him, and it's one of the times that he's gotten the chance to fight since, going to Strixhaven. But you get the feeling that he doesn't think he's going to win, but that's also not why he's here. He's here to support his family. Rowan has that sort of dangerous look in her eye, we'll say. But they go to bid you a see you later and go to where the fighters are sitting. And you see, I forget if the twins had actually mentioned this to you before, but you see that this is not the same as like a carnival or a Ren fair or a traditional celebration as when the actual festivities start. There is nothing else to do here besides watch people fight, hope the ones you're cheering for win, and talk to the people around you. So as the fighting sort of starts, one section of the proving ground dedicated to jousting, one dedicated to a grand melee of up to 25 combatants, another one dedicated to single combat, dueling, in a more traditional sense. You see very quickly that people in the stands, while half are watching, the other half are moving and mingling and talking. And that pulls you both into the attention of someone very surprising, I think. The section that you're in is not necessarily close to the festivities. It is more around the outskirts of it. But you see very quickly that even members of other courts move to kind of like talk and give pleasantries and sort of do that sort of social dance among members of other courts. And so that's when you notice, Felin and Motiva, that two sort of like regal-looking elves, pale-skinned, sort of short-cropped black hair, and dressed in flowing gowns of black and silver with the sort of like outline of a chalice emblazoned on their chest. Goes to move past the both of you, almost carving a path for this beautiful elven woman. Hair done up and followed by a long black veil. And for a moment it looks like they are going to pay you no mind, as most of the people who move towards the Ardenvale courts don't. They don't pay you any attention. Until this woman stops next to you, Felin, as she goes to look at you, and I'll get you her art.
I know who this is.
Yeah, you do. I can give you a couple arts of her, actually, because she has a lot of versions of her art.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna send you a couple more because she's really pretty.
Oh wow.
But she goes to stop and she goes to look down at you for a moment. And there's sort of like a tightening of her eyes as she looks at you. And it takes a moment for her sort of retinue to like pause and circle back over to her. but she goes to kind of say in a very quiet voice, making you have to strain to hear her over the calls of the crowd around you. You're not one of mine.
Good luck. This is your moment to shine, my boy.
You're also
Flynn
here, so
pulls
if you have
fucking
anything to say...
skyrockets.
Yeah, if you want to say anything, you can. You're over here, but this is a Falin section.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you would have heard what was being said.
Oh, absolutely not.
Flynn is going to give like a little bit of like a bow, I guess. And is going to say, no, I'm here to support some friends.
Friends. Well, that's lovely then. I would love to hear who you're cheering for then.
I'm cheering for Willa and Rowan Kenrith.
Alginus's children.
And what name did you say?
Alginus.
That's Dad.
Okay, thank you.
That
I was
is
like,
the first-
I'm...
Sorry, that is the first name of the High King. But it was notably just the first name.
Yeah. Flynn just nods.
Well, I guess I'm not surprised after their romp in the wilds. I guess they could have brought back anything.
I feel like Flynn doesn't know what to say to that.
That's definitely fine, because if there's sort of no response, I feel like she kind of very quickly, while still, like, kind of sort of considering you, I feel like she doesn't seem very interested in entertaining the conversation for very long. As she goes to kind of... goes to sort of lean to the side, while still looking at you, point blank, meeting your gaze. Goes to say something in a language you don't understand, to the two elven retinue. And she says, well, I'm sure at the end we will see which virtue is truly the strongest.
I think Flynn's just kind of nod and like try to smile and be like polite and friendly and say,
And who are you cheering for?
I have to find this name really quick, but that's a really fun question. You see her go to give a sort of half smile, and say, my fiance, actually. Sir Amir of Lockthwing.
Hunter Swallow.
I will show you a mirror of Loch Thwain.
Fulham is going to nod and say,
I will keep an eye out.
You see that she goes to smile at that and say, you should. He is the greatest knight that our court has to offer at the moment. I'm sure that he would be heartened if you would keep an eye out for him. I hope that whatever enjoyment you get from this, it finds you, cousin.
Fulham will give another little bow.
Say, you as well, cousin.
She looks pleased when you say that, and she goes to just sort of start walking away without another goodbye.
One not looking good.
That's fair.
Fair enough. I know who that is.
Not Motiva, though.
No, Motiva doesn't. It's why I had to be muted the entire time because I was screaming. Okay.
But yeah, the Grand Tourney seems to go apace as what you expect the sort of energy seems to be. You keep your eyes and ears out now in the case of Fulin, who has an extra person to be on the lookout for. Will and Rowan seem to be doing fairly well. Will focusing on jousting, and Rowan does some fighting in one of the bouts of Grand Melee, but mostly sticks to the one-on-one dueling section. And as you sort of keep an ear out for Sir Emir of Loch Thwain, Flynn, you very easily sort of see it, as most of the people competing aren't elves, actually. As you sort of look towards the court of Loch Thwain, there is markedly less people even in that court section that came to this event. And from the scant elves that you see competing, you very easily find one with this sort of like tanned skin and hair red as a maple leaf. And slowly through the hours that this takes, grueling as it must be to be sort of an island in a sea in the midst of this, eventually Will comes back to sort of sit with the two of you, and kind of sits down with a very like old man sort of sigh, and says, sorry that I haven't had a chance to be looking over in your section very often, but I hope that no one has been too untoward. I know you were both very worried about it.
No, it was lovely.
really only one person approached us. I don't know who she was, but she seemed important.
She might have been. If you want, you can try to describe me to her, and I might. If well, I'm a little distanced from the court politicking. But if she's someone very important, I might have known of her.
And Flynn is going to describe her. Emir's fiance?
Oh. I'll say I didn't expect Lochthwain's queen herself to talk to either of you.
That was the queen!
That was the queen. That was the queen of Lochthwain.
Why did she talk to me?
I couldn't tell you. I've never actually spoken with her. She's very reserved. Usually my family only ever vaguely interacts with her court during these sort of events. They're very reclusive, you see. And he looks a little bit worried. And then after a second he kind of whispers to say, "Did she say anything weird to you? Like, was she ominous to you at all?"
A little bit. She implied that you and Rowan got me from the wilds, and then she called me cousin.
Hmm. I don't know enough about her to know if that's weird for her or if she does that.
I don't know either. She also called your dad by his first name.
You see him look almost like taken aback by that. And there's like a moment where you think that he's like debating on if he should be like pissed about it. Before he kind of just goes to shake his head and say, "I will tell my father about that later." I don't think I like that.
It seems strange.
It seems disrespectful, is what it seems.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. This we don't have to make it about that. I hope that you are not uncomfortable.
No, it's fine. She's moved on now, so.
Okay. Well, at least hopefully that gives me a fighting chance to hope that you didn't see me fall on my ass easily 5 times in a row.
That's a skill in and of itself, you know.
It's true. Blessings in strange places. You're very quiet, Motiva.
I think Motiva like takes a second and she kind of gives a weak smile, and I imagine Motiva probably could have actually seen that. I think Motiva is going to bluntly just say to Will, "I think I'm beginning to understand why these sports are not allowed in my home."
Are they not?
They're illegal. Illegal or heavily padded. You can find jousting and dueling in public, but it will never be with a real sword, and the swords that they joust with break on impact. I knew that it was violent. It's one of the first things we're talked about whenever it came to history, but it oddly reminds me of my time in the swarm. It's unsettling to see when people fall to the ground.
I think that he kind of goes to nod slowly, and he looks like he's picking his words carefully. And he goes to say, I understand. I don't know as much about your time in the swarm as some people, but I know that you've insinuated that it was... Well, how about we get some fresh air?
It's boiling. I'm dying here.
I'm far too bruised to still be in the running, so let's take a walk.
Will Rowan be competing soon? Would we miss her?
It's from what I've seen, she's very in and out. We can always come back. I'm sure
Yeah.
she wouldn't hold it against you to need space. Well, okay, she holds many things against many people, but we can just be hard-headed about it back. It's I should have, I suppose, thought about it. I know many people, even in Arcavios, are not used to military warfare, knighthood, and the sort of danger of... I guess you never really realize how dangerous where you live can seem until you meet people who aren't used to it.
There's knighthood where I'm from. You just wouldn't get it from this. I think you would like it a lot more.
Oh, really? Tell me how I would become a knight of Ohio.
Own land.
Well,
Write a book. Suck the queen off behind a table. Come on.
I could maybe write a book. And he goes to kind of
Well, I'm glad you choose that option.
and he goes to kind of stand up and like almost like in the same way that you, Philin, saw that retinue kind of like carve a path for the queen, kind of goes to kind of be a large body to be able to like maneuver you both through. I just think it's something he would casually do, even if it's something that you could do yourself, you know?
Aw.
Especially because he is trying to kind of get you away from the proving grounds. And as you guys kind of move through the crowds, you kind of come to some of the areas that like horses are kept or where squires are running around. Some of the places where you can get drink or food. Mostly very hearty food. Water and some ale as well as like pieces of charred meat. It seems like a barbecued meat is a very common food at this event. But whether or not you get any, I think that like he is just kind of like trying to, you can't really escape the heat, but at the very least you can get away from the heat of bodies and allow sort of a breeze to pass through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want a turkey leg, I would say Will would buy it for you. I'm sure that they're not expensive.
He buys the turkey leg. Motiva buys him ale. Is there anything dainty for the little princess Philin?
I think that they would have to because there is royalty here. I think that like I think their idea of like a dainty confectionery, I think might be like little baubles made of like heated sugar.
Oh.
So like, you know, those like elaborate candies that are like made by like actually moving the like strings of like really hot sugar,
Yeah.
like ribbon candies and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can imagine that you can get a couple of those. And we'll probably have to pay a little bit extra to have it be like in a like not just like thrown in a bag. You know what I mean? But you have like a little box of like candies to nibble on. And I will actually say that Will also gets some water, specifically to kind of like freeze small pieces of it. And like I think that he actually like attempts. It depends on if you let him. Like attempts to kind of like hold some ice up to your face, Motiva.
She'll take it. She'll just like she literally will just take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding. I was literally about to joke that she like does like a non-threatening chilling spray at the ground, so there's just like a circle of ice they're sitting on.
Yeah, and then Will probably also does like an even bigger and more elaborate version of what he does with his like ice leg to kind of like keep the area around you guys kind of cool as you kind of like Chile. He'd sit on the ground with you. Maybe I'll say he has a cloak he can put on the ground for Falin to sit down on.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he's making it cold, Falin is suddenly like.
Yeah. You're from DeWarm.
I'm from DeWarm and Mountainous. This is as close to home as I've been since leaving home.
It's true. But yeah, I think that you guys kind of sit like this for a little bit. And I think I don't think that Will makes you go back. So like you guys can continue to do interactions here or kind of just like wait for something to happen, which I can definitely come up with something because I didn't think that you guys would leave, but I can think of something.
I think that eventually Motiva would want to go back to make sure that she catches Rowan.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you guys kind of just take a moment to kind of like simmer down, get away from like the fighting and the yelling and the heat. That sort of like oppressive heat. Before you kind of go back. And whenever you guys go back, Will actually makes a point to continue sitting with you.
Oh.
And nobody seems to say anything about it.
We get 5 feet, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I do think at some point, since he has joined us, Falin is going to ask him if anything hurts.
Ooh. I mean, do you mean besides my pride?
I don't think my healing magic can help that.
I am a little sore, but any injuries I got, I was blessed to have a very capable healer.
You'd best take whatever Falin offers you before I tell you my solution.
If you would like to give any extra, I will not turn down a nice gesture, but I also don't want you to tax yourself. I'm more than fine.
Oh, I have stocked up on healing. It is not taxing in the slightest.
You're like 7 healing spells staring back at
You putting an entire heal into specifically healing one bruise he got on his left ass cheek.
Touch the cheek, Falin.
No,
Touch the
he would not let you
cheek.
touch the
gonna-
cheek.
No. She's gonna give him a light pat on his shoulder.
Okay.
Pat pat.
That's worse.
You give him a sort of pat, and you go to give him a little bit of juice. And you see, even like visibly, he can sit a bit more comfortable, and he kind of like gives like a relieved sigh, as he goes to kind of like pat your hand on his shoulder, and it's not super long. But he kind of brushes his hand over yours, and I think that he's gonna kind of say, almost without thinking, like what would I do without you?
Man.
And then realize, like, afterwards, it's a little bit embarrassing for everyone involved. You know what I mean?
Would I be here? Hello?
You certainly are here.
I'll go sit with your fucking siblings if I have to. What the fuck?
Anyways, I think he pointedly is very interested in the matches again.
Yeah.
Yep. And something I have to roll that. I don't get to say roll perceptions. I do that now.
Yeah.
What's everybody's bonus?
7.
13.
Fuck
Jesus
you.
Christ.
I'm an expert.
The only reason I have a 7 at all is because of my level. It's only supposed to be a +2. It's just because of my level. Very nice that they give me that.
It's true. Falin, you're kind of the only one who notices this. I feel like it's almost in your, like, speed to stop perceiving William Kenrith. And Motiva almost does it in the opposite way, where, like, Motiva is now looking at the rest of the crowd. But you kind of notice, you do actually see Rowan sort of, like, at the edge of the proving ground, seemingly kind of, like, sitting on, like, a chair in between some of her bouts. I didn't talk about this a lot in the beginning because I forgot to, but whenever you saw them fight, both of the twins are kind of dressed in, like, an amount of armor you don't see them in the day-to-day. When they're at Arcavios, they wear, like, their uniforms that are bolstered with, like, leather armor or with leather and metal pieces. But Will in particular wears this sort of, like, gleaming set of, like, full metal armor, like plate mail. And in contrast, Rowan wears, like, a more elaborate and decorated sort of, like, leather set with sort of cloak and clothes and fabric adorning it. But even in this, their fighting styles are different. But in this moment between fights, you see that part of it, the armor is sort of, like, undone to kind of, like, help with, like, heat, as, like, she's, like, cooling off in between matches. And as she's sort of sitting there with her, like, elbows on her knees, you see almost tentatively the figure that you thought was Charisse go to walk up and sit down next to her.
Ooh.
But that is the only thing of note that you notice before she is back in the fighting. There were hundreds of fighters in this event when it started, and it's slowly becoming hours into the fighting. To some of you, it might seem like half of it is even just the endurance to keep fighting. As those numbers drop down to a single 100, to 50, to 20. And all the while, Rowan keeps getting back up. And there's a thing that happens with healing magic where it can't fix everything or it can't knit everything. So you still see the occasional freshly healed scar on a shoulder, a bruising on her sword arm. But eventually, in almost no fanfare at all, she is one of the last 10 standing warriors. And at this point, it is starting to be made clear that this is when this sort of event would naturally end, would naturally wrap up. Because even though there will continue to be fighting for those who want to maybe reach the number one spot, who want to sort of go that extra mile to prove to themselves who is stronger or how far they can go, this is whenever the winners are offered their choice. And when you were told about what you get from winning this, you were told by Rowan. You were told by Rowan on the walk here because the first time you had asked, Will had stopped the conversation. And so now that you are sitting with Will, you are able to see in real time his worry when Rowan is offered and she says yes.
No.
And this is a moment where he does not look at either of you because he is getting up and moving to the crowd to go to his sister.
Oh
Mhm.
God.
As the final winners are starting to disperse.
Yeah, we should follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys go down and you follow him, and as these sorts of crowds are leaving, the courts are getting together and moving away, you see that his greaves hit the packed earth of the proving ground as he doesn't run. William, I don't want to say can't run, but he has learned that running is not always what will get him to where he needs to go. But he is moving with a swiftness, and when he goes to reach his sister, he grabs her by the shoulder and almost shoves her.
Oh.
With how he immediately goes to say, "You can't be serious. You can't." And you see that as you sort of get closer to this argument brewing in this now emptying space, unsure of what eyes could be on you in this moment, as you see that Rowan is kind of, in the same way that I mentioned earlier, tired, worn, like injury after injury, healed over and healed over repeatedly, covered in sweat and dust and dried blood, for lack of a better way to word it. And she just kind of looks at him in this moment as he goes to kind of like push at her shoulder and say, "Why not? I earned this. I'm going to try. You're only acting like this because you think I can't."
I think he's just worried as your brother.
You see her head goes to kind of swivel over at you and say, how do I think that she would react to that? I think that she looks at you and she almost goes to snap at you before she sucks on her teeth a little bit, and she says, almost like painfully enunciating, "This is the best time to try."
Won't you be even stronger next year? Is there not one every year?
What makes this time the time to try?
Because this has been the only time I've been able to come back since all of this happened. And you see that she kind of gestures wildly to this circle of you four. Because whenever I became a knight, I was going to do this one first. This is what I'd always wanted, and I hate that we didn't even earn our Ardenvale knighthood. And I hate that you got the Vantress one for free. And
Rowan.
now... What?
Don't dig.
Roll me a diplomacy.
My dice!
It rolled off the table?
It rolled off my table and went under it.
Oh my god, they're hiding from this.
Ah!
They were literally. No, I need to mention. I rolled it and it slid and it hit my bedside table and then it rolled like on the other side of my under my table.
Oh my god.
It was the worst. I rolled really good. I wish I knew what I rolled under the table. Okay. So my diplomacy. 1 second. I need to check if I have a thing.
Yeah, because you might have a thing for diplomacy.
I might have a thing for diplomacy. Okay. I don't. I used to, I think.
I think
keep
so as well.
thinking I had something, but I don't. Anyway, that was a 19 plus 11.
Okay, so that's 30.
Yes.
Okay. There's something that happens when you say this to Rowan. And it's not... This anger is not like a match starting a wildfire like Rowan normally is when she's mad. It is tension like a bowstring. It's a bitterness. And you see as you say that, as she goes to be like, what? And you say that, she has the instinct to glance back at her brother, and then she swallows what she was about to say and looks away. As you see that Will is... I don't want to say that he looks the most upset. I think you have seen worse arguments between the two of them. Heard of worse arguments between them. But you see that he is very carefully sort of schooling his features. And... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I would love to hear what you have to say more.
Motiva's gonna put her hands up in a show of I'm not trying to start a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'd also like to mention you earned your knighting in Ardenvale for everything you had gone through. Despite what you think, that was very hard. And I would like to add as personal experience, trying to rush to get to the winning side of events like this, I can say from personal experience, it can go very badly. You shouldn't rush success. And you're a 4th year. The second the year is done or even halfway through, you can just leave. Me and Ashan sparked. You don't have to worry about being teachers to us. I get it. You want to do this. But whenever I was in your position, I made a lot of mistakes. And I would be really sad because I know that you can come back next year with even more experience. You're not getting any less experienced.
You see that almost in another tell that shows her age. She goes to kind of just sit on the ground.
Oh. Oh.
As she kind of goes to like press the sort of balls of her palms into her eyes to kind of rub the sweat and the dust and the dirt off of her face. And say, I'm not trying to seem like this is sudden. Next year, I could come back with more experience, maybe win faster. Your skill on the battlefield and your knight training doesn't help you. What makes a knight isn't how you wield a sword, it's proving that you have what it takes, your character. And I know I should be grateful that we were rewarded for what we dealt with when we saved our father, but that's not I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I think a big thing that could show your character is patience to win in a battlefield as well. I'm not overconfident when I say I think you could do this again and win 1,000,000 times. But whenever it gets to the end of it, I don't know. Hey, Sarah, you should start talking so that Motiva can use Aura Sight on Rowan.
I am sorry to say Felin is actually looking a bit conflicted.
I would talk to me. Talk to me.
I am using Aura Sight.
No. I mean, just tell me how you're feeling first of all.
Yeah. Felin is specifically feeling conflicted because of her own experiences with seeing Bova go off to Bazazan.
Mm-hmm.
In her mind, she's like, well, I didn't want Bova to go to Bazazan. That shit's dangerous as hell. But I couldn't just stop them from going. I couldn't say that I was upset about that. I had to just let them go. But now Rowan is wanting to do essentially the same thing, but shorter term. And we're telling her not to.
This actually brings up a really, really interesting thought process. So I'm going to ask to clarify something. And if I'm right in this reading of this now, I would love for you guys to potentially bring it up in character. Are you operating under the assumption that gaining knighthood at Embereth means that she would have to stay here?
No. Not
Okay.
staying here, but going to a dangerous place for however long it takes to finish that trial.
Yeah.
I can tell you it takes 1 minute.
Most dangerous minute of your fucking life.
It's true.
I can believe it.
Hey.
Eh.
That's not an exaggeration. It's a very, very quick one. But no, that's totally very fair. Sorry. I wanted to just make sure Since
Yeah.
you guys are being really emotional, and I love what you're saying, I wanted to make sure. But no, everything you said is still totally valid. And that's very interesting, the thing you pointed out with Bova, because I also wanted to give you this little tidbit, Free Flynn, is that it is very interesting being so near to someone who is so similar to someone you care about, because both of them had this want. It's a want to become stronger, but it's not even necessarily through violence. Because I think what you see when you see Bova, in Bova's conviction to go to Bazzoxan and to go to that station, is the same conviction you see in Rowan now, where it is not power for the sake of violence, it is power for the sake of protecting something that's important to you. It's what it stands for and not what it actually is. And I just think that that's a really interesting tidbit to talk about.
Yes.
This is so fucking funny. Does this mean that Falin is siding with Rowan and Motif is siding with Will?
Basically, yeah, Philip's not saying anything right now because she's like, I mean, I guess the other two don't want her to, but I don't know.
It's very interesting that Falin is siding with Rowan, but is like not saying anything, because technically if the other two can like convince her, then that's like the safer option. Very interesting. It's almost like a lie of omission with opinions.
Yes.
Okay. So since that's happening, I would love to know if Motiva is saying anything else to Rowan. I potentially have other things to say, but I almost feel like it's more likely that she might just kind of like... I almost feel like it's just as likely that she could just sit here and like think the conversation is done. You know what I mean?
Motiva will like go to sit on the ground with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna say, Rowan, I'll make you a deal. But like a fun deal. Not scary.
You don't sound very fun right now, but I like you, so I'll bite.
Don't bite me. I'm very, very small. You know this. You absolutely smacked the shit out of me in front of the entire school. But besides the point, I'll make you a deal in that the next time you come here, I'll come with you. And I'll have better magic. And you'll be even stronger somehow. Beyond mortal comprehension in my eyes, honestly. And have you ever thought about having a personal band play while you do duels?
Well, I don't think they'll let you do that. But you see that there's
who's
already
gonna
like a
stop
crooked...
me?
There's like a crooked twist of her mouth, and say, probably the entire military of Embereth. They're really particular.
And you're gonna be a knight here? Come on. Come on. You have to let me break the rules at least. When have you ever followed rules? When are you telling me to follow rules? Oh my gosh. She's gonna like look at her head and she's gonna say, who are you?
I'm trying to keep your nose out of trouble since you love to stick it there so much.
I like to have my hands in many pots. This is true. Ugh. She's gonna like groan and like she's gonna fucking flop on the ground. I sound like my sister. Stop.
Let's stop sounding like your sister.
Stop making me feel like I have to be responsible. Or mature.
Well, nobody made you have to be mature. You're making that decision all on your own.
Wrong. She like stares at like the volcano sky and she just stops and she says, Ron, my brain is frying right now, and I think yours is frying. Uh. Oh wait, no, Motiva didn't say that, so I didn't see that, so I can't say it. I was gonna make Motiva say like, I saw you with that lady girl over there. You should hang out with her for the rest of the evening. She didn't see it.
God, you can say no to this. Can I say that Falin like whispered that she saw that to Motiva, like earlier when she saw it?
I'll say that you technically had like the time. I'll say that you definitely had the time because that was whenever the fighting was winding down anyway. It wasn't like super quick.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Motiva's gonna look to Ron and say, your Keely friend on the unicorn was talking to you earlier. Was it nice?
It was. We don't get a chance to talk very often.
She's biting her tongue a little bit. And she opens her mouth and she says, well, she can't talk to you more if you get destroyed by hot coals or something.
I wouldn't get... That's not...
I'm lying.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know anything. Rowan, I'm so scared.
No, it's... fine. If you're actually curious, I'm sure you could watch when the rest of the contestants go, but I don't know if it would be to your taste. We can just go. That's the last leg of it anyway. Some people will be staying the night, but there won't be any other festivities.
Anything you want to say, Flynn?
Nope. She's in her thoughts.
In her feelings.
In her feelings.
Alright, let's pack it up.
Pack it up, boys. Sorry for stealing your jumbo, God.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't care. Rowan will care for a little bit, but that's something for you to work out later. But yeah. Motiva, unless you were gonna say something else, I think that Rowan would sort of get up. Probably have to go talk to a person or two. The Kenriths would say goodbye to their family, and then you guys can actually teleport straight from here because you guys have a scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are we able to say that we bought stuff while in Eldraine?
Yeah, I'll say you could have bought stuff while you were airing out.
Nice.
You also could have bought it before leaving. I'll say you can get Ardenvale core stuff and also Embereth core stuff when you're picking out stuff to give people for souvenirs.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. I'll say whenever we go back, we will take a little bit of a break so you guys can pick out souvenir stuff.
Yippee!
Yay!
All right, Slay. Is there anything else you guys want to do here?
Sarah?
here.
All right then. With that, what I just said happens. The twins handle their business. Kind of acting a little bit terse with each other, as per usual when they have disagreements. Um, but there isn't really a lot of that same, like, sort of bright anger that you're used to seeing from Rowan, or that kind of cold um, feeling that you're used to from Will when they're like having their big fights. It's just something that you can kind of see on the surface. They're very easy to read. Simple enough folks. Um, and they say goodbye to their family. Again, notably peeling off from the both of you to do so. Though you guys both kind of make eye contact with um, one or two members of the royal family before Will and Rowan come back. And you guys go to teleport back to Arcavios. And you come back to the sort of bright, well, the dim, I'll say it's twilight now, going into actual sunset. Though one sun still hangs in the air despite the late hour. And they would both peel off from you both. Rowan giving a terse but not unkind goodnight. And Will kind of almost staying behind to kind of check in with the both of you one last time, considering it was not the most enjoyable experience for either of you.
Man.
It is okay.
Go ahead.
No, he was just going to say sleep well if nobody else said anything. But if you have something to say, please say it.
Did Eleni invite us to Theros already, by any chance?
Yes, you were invited. It's probably, I'll say it's probably like a day or two from now. Just so that they're not all staggered up on top of each other.
Yeah. Motiva will nod her head and say, "Do you want anything from Theros?"
Again?
Well, I'm not fucking Flynn.
We're going to be on land this time. Different items.
That's very exciting. If you see anything that would make a good souvenir, I would not say no to any of it. I don't want to lead you and ask for a very particular thing, but I think if you could pick up something for Rowan, I think that she would like it.
Yeah.
She'll be sour for a while, but she'll be fine.
We can't just keep saying that.
Well, we kind of have to be fine, don't we?
Isn't that always the case?
Try to have a good night, and try to have a good time in Theros. I know you liked it last time.
Good night, Sunshine Class.
And we'll leave the both of you to separate as you will.
Man.
Man.
Do you guys think that you guys have any interactions with each other, or do you guys just kind of separate and go to sleep?
I think, unless Motiva wants to say anything, Flynn is just going to, like, bid a good night and go to her door.
God!
Man.
Motiva's the bad guy! Man, maybe I shouldn't have rolled a 30. Man.
I mean,
Man.
there's no wrong decisions. You were
Yeah.
just saying how you felt about it.
But I'm powerful at talking, God!
Yeah, you're very good at talking.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
Anyway, break time.
Whee! Oh,
Does this need to be on recording?
it doesn't have to be. I that night, Philin is going to try upcasting to sending to Bova, and I have to figure out the words.
Oh, slay. Okay, cool. I'll press play. I'll press pause. You figure out the words, send it to me. I'll give you the new updated upcasting rules. Okay, break time.
No.
And we're back. You guys have settled in, came back, given your souvenirs after your, I would actually say overall stressful time in Eldraine. Multiple factors, including the overall stress of one of your first real forays, but the both of you, like covertly being in a plane. You guys have very rarely gone to a plane and fully hidden that you don't belong. And other unsavory elements. But Philin in particular, your partner has asked something of you and your friend, and for lack of a better word, duty calls. You know? Is there anything you guys would like to do before going? Any conversations to have? Any things to bring? Eleni would have warned you ahead of time, and they would warn you again right before you go, that you will be underwater for a little bit, but not very long.
Motif is bringing thoughts and prayers.
In particular, I would like to know what things you are bringing, because since you will be wet for a little bit, that is important.
Well, not my fucking phone.
Yep. Can't be anything with papers or electronics in it.
Yeah.
I have a waterproof journal.
Yes, you do.
Oh my fucking god. Oh,
Specifically because of who my partner is.
Yeah.
Yes, well, they fuck nasty on your waterproof journal. You do not lose any ink.
It's true.
Motiva, probably my sword.
Sard.
Hard.
Yeah, you can bring your Sard. Easy peasy. Also very
Easy.
normal, it's Theros.
I'm bringing a minor healing potion, my healer's tools, my holy symbol,
Slay.
my staff,
Slay.
and my waterproof journal
Slay.
with ink and pen.
Nice.
If I bring my gun, will you kill me? Will you kill me? Will you waterlog my gun? Yes or no?
I will say, I think what I would probably realistically do is I would probably roll to see if it got waterlogged, and then when you get to your next location, you can spend time cleaning it out. I don't know how guns actually interact with water very much, so I would say it would affect it, but I wouldn't say that it's ruined forever.
Okay, that's fine then. Yes, I'm bringing my gun.
Okay, Slay. And bullets, I assume.
Yeah, it'll be under my skirt.
Yeah, yes. Slay. Okay, awesome. I think that that's definitely a good amount of stuff to bring. So yeah, if there's anything you guys want to do beforehand, or you can just jet on over.
I'm gonna look over my spells really quick.
Do it. I think both of you can prepare new spells if you want them.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay, Slay. All right. Then, if both of you are ready, you can go and meet up with Eleni. I also imagine that if you take like literally any amount of time, Eleni will come to you.
Oh, I think Flynn will ask Eleni if they should bring anything specific with them.
Ooh, yes. You see, they go to think really hard. You see, I feel like for flavor, for whenever they come to like get you, I feel like they like go up to you and almost start like orbiting you in excitement. And then whenever Motiva shows up, it's like this sort of like infinity loop, you know, 8 shape between the both of you. Well, you know, you don't have to do anything, but if you had anything that you wanted to offer, I'm sure that Thassa would like it. We're going to be going to an altar of hers, so... But that's it. It's not fancy. There's not going to be anybody else there, I don't think.
Something to offer.
Eleni kind of like idly starts playing with your veil, Motiva.
I don't even think she minds.
Nice.
Would she like a book?
Oh, she would love a book. What kind of book?
Me, Sarah, I'm going through Flynn's inventory, and something that she has is Book from Home. I did not add a description when I added that, so I don't know what kind of book it is.
You know, I'm sure we knew at some point. But either way, I think it's fine. I think that Eleni would think that that's a really unique and creative thing. And they would talk about, Thassa is a goddess of knowledge and bettering yourself. I think that she would love a book.
Oh, what about an abacus?
That sounds good too.
The abacus would probably have less chance of getting wet.
Oh, that is true. If she took it underwater, I don't know how well the book would go.
Okay, I will do an abacus.
Nice. But before too long, Eleni would make sure that you guys are all ready, and would come up to you, Motiva, kind of still idly messing with the edge of your veil and saying, we should only be in my home for about as long as it takes for me to cast it. So, however long a single action in Pathfinder is how long they tell you it'll be.
Think it's 6 seconds.
Is that one action or a whole turn?
2 seconds.
I have no idea. Generally, Eleni would tell you that it's one action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Motiva will look to Fallen and just smile and say, "I can count on you to dry me off immediately."
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Eleni does a little hop over to you, Falin, and goes to give you a smorch.
Smorch.
And then immediately comes back over to Motiva, and is also gonna try to smorch. I think they delicately tip your chin up and try to give you a kiss.
Where's the one gif of Gigi?
I don't know what gif you mean. Oh, the fluffed up one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just because it's wet.
It's wet
cold.
and cold. Weird
And she
and
did not
jelly
expect
like. Yeah.
Multiple things. She's not gonna like panic or anything because she assumes it's like for a spell or something.
It is. You would actually feel the wave of magic go over you as soon as they pull away.
Yep.
But they definitely didn't explain that beforehand.
Yeah. Your lady just wanted a little kiss. I don't blame them.
But after that, Eleni goes to take both of your hands in their cold, wet ones, and is going to take you guys over to Ketaphos. And I mentioned this to Falin, and whenever Falin came here, but it is, again, you're very used to the sensation of being transported. What you are not used to is the shock of cold that closes in on all of you. And it is a startling thing, and even as your sort of chest naturally kind of gasps or seizes, even the 2 seconds you're in the water, you can breathe freely. Though instantly upon getting home, you can sort of feel this sort of magic emanating from Eleni between the both of you. And you are transported a second time, less intensive than the sort of plane shift spells that you're used to, as you are shunted out into a very cold seaside breeze.
Wait.
Wait.
Yeah, Flynn is immediately fucking prestoing the both of them to get dry.
Nice. You are prestoed pretty quickly, and so it is not as uncomfortable, but for a solid second you were in sensory hell of cold and wet and in full clothes sticking to you. As you are sort of on this shoreline, and it's sort of this rocky shoreline, the tide is low, and Eleni was not kidding. This sort of area is deserted, actually. And the only thing sort of note is these sort of outcroppings that look sort of similar to like fingers sticking up from the rocky ground. And a gentle blue light coming from the palm of his hand. I think... Oh, I remember what I needed to talk about. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I didn't have this ready. You actually see, as you guys sort of spend that moment to presto yourself, Eleni lets go of your hands with this sort of like big sigh and says, "Good. All done." And by the time you look at them again, you actually see that the sort of like bioluminescent that's normally like encased in the water of their body is actually glowing a bit brighter. And the sort of flow of their hair is a bit more pronounced.
Oh.
Yeah, Flynn's gay. She's gonna kind of clasp her hands together and say, "Oh, Eleni, you look glowing, literally."
Oh, thank you. And you see Eleni goes to twirl some of their hair a little bit. And they go to kind of like do a little hop over to you, but something that you immediately notice because of how close you are, Flynn, is that when they do that, it is a hard thing to describe because of how it looks, because it doesn't make sense to your brain. But the weight of Eleni should have made the jump quicker. It's as if almost Eleni was in the air for a second or two longer than should have made sense in that motion. But they go over to you to, unfortunately, give you a wet hug, even though you just prestoed yourself. But... Okay, there we go. Found you. But they would look to the both of you and say, the shrine is over this way. Oh, now I'm a little embarrassed.
Why?
You're right, I shouldn't be. I guess I just realized I brought you both out here with nothing for you to do.
Isn't it just coming to be with you? Isn't that's something to do?
Okay, you're right. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And you go over sort of towards this shrine. And you notice something a little bit out of the ordinary. That kind of causes Eleni to sort of stop. As you all see, near you, easily dwarfing you on the ground in front of you, is a body.
Oh.
You can look at the foundry now.
Huh? Wow.
I can't see shit.
I also cannot see shit.
What the heck? Okay, hold on.
Ooh.
Okay, I forgot to give you guys vision. How's it?
Whoa.
Can
Whoa.
definitely see. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Body.
It's a body.
Yeah.
A body has been discovered.
A body has been discovered.
A body has been discovered.
Okay, cool, Slate. I'm gonna turn on the foundry window now.
I don't like that.
I think that, as you guys all sort of notice this, I feel like, Eleni is almost, I don't want to say too quick as in running, but, like, is very, like, easily going up to, like, its head to go examine it. Kind of like squatting down to look at its sort of, like, salt-crusted helmet. I'll move Snister with you if you move.
I can't move. There we go.
Yeah, you have to use your WASD, your up, down, left.
No,
right.
no, no. My keyboard was just acting weird.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Does anybody want to give me a medicine check, perchance?
Yes, please.
I should not.
You're not good at it?
I have 0.
Ha! You should not do it. I hope you guys like my map, by the way.
I do. I'm fascinated by this.
19.
19.
Jesus.
Okay, cool. So, you can see that this body, especially the armor it's wearing, is like sort of encrusted in like salt and barnacles. It looks to be a creature that is humanoid, but one that you don't necessarily recognize. But what you do notice with a 19 is that this body is recent. And now I get to roll some perceptions for the lot of you.
Oh god.
Oh, fuck.
The first person to notice anything is Falin, but I need you to know that only just barely, because by the time you notice anything around you, the creature is within 20 feet of you, slithering and gurgling ominously at you. Because the other two got nat ones, and you only got a 5 plus your bonus.
Oh my
Damn.
So creature time.
Flitty immediately fucking screaming on sight.
That's super fair. Let's roll some initiatives, everybody.
Aha.
Haha.
And I'll get the combats music.
Combating music.
Actually, I'm gonna pause really quick. I need to check which one it was the music. Play is back on. Let's go. We're starting top of the round. It's this guy.
Oh.
So. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So it's gonna come right up to Mixelani and it's gonna try to bite. That actually does not hit. So as it goes to like bite into Eleni, Eleni almost instinctively brings up the edge of the bident that they brought, this sort of red and blue swirling pattern with like inlaid pearls. And almost goes to like parry, and like Panic takes a step back towards Felin. And Felin, it's your turn.
Yippee! Give me 1 second. Oh, I forgot I could do that. Okay. For my first action, I am going to try and kinetic ram this thing.
Okay.
You must succeed on a fortitude saving throw.
Okay, awesome. 1 second. Okay, fortitude saving throw. Let's go. That's gonna be a 30.
That's scary. Well, that beats it, certainly. So nothing happens.
Okay, apologies.
Let me look at my other things. Okay. I feel like Felin tries that, sees that it didn't do shit, panics, and is going to immediately cast Searing Light
Okay.
with her last 2 actions, so I need to make a ranged spell attack.
Do that.
$18.
18. That does hit.
Thank fucking God.
Definitely not a critical though. Just barely. So you got it.
I got it. That's what counts. I need to get my d6s. Okay. That is 20 points of fire damage.
20 points? Hell yeah. Okay, cool, Slay. Let me look. Yeah, takes that. Hell yeah.
Nope.
Alrighty. And then you said that that had to be your whole turn?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Alrighty. Motiva, it's your turn.
Gun.
Yeah, Slay. So just as a heads up, because that is like a ranged attack, you're gonna have to step out to the side to not give this guy cover.
Yes. I step.
Step.
Gun.
Okay,
Gun.
awesome. Gun.
25.
25, yeah. Slay.
I'd like to thank my attack bonus.
Your attack bonus with gun is awesome.
And I would like to use activate to do an additional 3d4 persistent fire damage.
Okay, slay. How does that work with that guy?
Once per day, except CFX below. That doesn't count here because I don't think that it's very sunny here.
Oh, okay, awesome.
One of the panels, yeah.
Okay,
For the
cool.
next minute, whenever you strike an enemy with the solar shellflower, the construct fires a smaller jet of fire that automatically hits the target, dealing 3d4 persistent fire damage, or twice that on a critical hit.
Okay, slay. So for like flavor and the way that you're doing it, you probably activate it as you're aiming, and that's the action to activate it, and then you shoot. So that's very slay.
Yes. I would like to use Blister. Also, I'm going to send it in here so that you can look back at it.
Yes.
I'm going to use the Blister ammunition.
Okay, awesome. Next time, just tell me what ammo you're using before you shoot.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just a reminder.
I need you to make a fortitude save.
Unfortunately, he's very good at that, but I will do it.
I'm not surprised, but I have to shoot my shot.
Not, you know, 19?
That just beats it. The DC is 19.
Sorry. I rolled
No,
a
it's
3.
okay. God damn it.
That's about as good as you're gonna get one. I'm so sorry, bestie.
No, it's okay. This is too many D4s. Where's my phone? It's... Okay. I'm busting out my fucking calculator. This sucks.
Do it. Understandable. Sorry for the combat, everybody. I gotta keep you on your toes.
Uh, 17 fire damage. The D4 is persistent.
Okay, so I would roll that on my turn. The persistent you don't roll.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My two sixes was... Oh god. Hold on, I can look through my history. It was a 5 and a 4.
Okay, 5 and a 4 slay, so that's 9.
9. 'Tis piercing if it makes any difference.
It does, actually. Okay. So it's actually gonna use a reaction.
Oh.
As you go to shoot it, like both of these bullets sinking into its flesh, you hear it let out this sort of like wet screech as its sort of blood sprays from that shot. As that sort of like arterial spray goes out, you actually see a spark of light and then an arc of lightning connect from the body to the blood to then you.
Oh.
So you take some electric damage.
Oh.
You take 5
Goddamn.
electric damage.
That's fine. We're still kicking, boys.
We're still kicking. Do you have any more actions?
No, actually,
no,
I
yeah,
used
that's
all
all
of
for you.
them.
That's correct. Okay, Slay. It's Elaine's turn, and Elaine is gonna do something.
A lady kill.
Elaine will
Kill.
try. Okay, cool, Slay. So, Elaine, I feel like after that same reaction tries to back up, but you're still there, Falin. So there's like a second of hesitation before they take the tip of their bident, put it against the paved stone ground, and then yank up And as they do this casting, they actually magically cast Spray of Stars as
Ooh.
it sparks from the motion coupled with their own bioluminescent light as star motes go and attempt to do damage on this thing. And it does it. Okay, cool. Let me look at that again. Okay, Slay. So this thing takes 18 damage and is actually now dazzled.
Yeah!
Ooh.
But Elaney is then... Oh, and... You see, as you notice this because you're the closest, Flynn, but the sort of like bioluminescent motes inside of them get just a step brighter.
Ooh.
Or
But that is their entire turn, so we're back to the top of the round. It's this thing.
Oh, I have to.
Oh,
Before I
yes.
forget, I have to ask. On the off chance, did this thing get the same initiative as me?
No, it actually got one above you.
Okay. I need to check because I forgot when doing initiative that I have like a whole feat for it, and it could have been. a
Oh,
thing, but
that's
I
right.
forgot.
You do have that thing where if you get the same, you get to go faster.
Yeah, it's that, and it's also I can choose to make a check, and I get like a way better roll. But I forgot to do it, so.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm so sorry.
don't forget the persistent damage.
That's right. I will do their turn, and then I will do the persistent damage. Is 1d4?
Yeah.
I put 2 to the side so I don't forget. Okay.
Is it 1d4? I think it's 3d4.
3d4 for the persistent?
Yes, dealing
Holy
3d4 additional persistent fire damage.
That's very slay. Okay, I'll put 3 d4s over here. That's awesome. That's very good. That's a very good gun you have.
I love this gun so much.
Awesome. So, I think it doesn't quite like your gun, Motiva.
Bitch.
Bitch.
And it's going to move with its fly speed.
Oh, that takes down one of my spells.
And it is going to then try to do 2 bites.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. So 1 second. Does a 27 and a dirty 20 hit you?
Both of those hit. They are not criticals.
Good.
Are they spells?
No, it's bite.
Okay. I just want to make sure that it is not spell-like.
Okay, not awful actually. So you take 9 piercing damage, but I need you to make me a fortitude save.
I have terrible news for you. Fortitude's my best. 27, bitch.
27? Okay, that's fine, because that's not a critical success, so you're sickened 1.
That's fine.
As it goes to bite you, and almost its like spit is full of sea salt.
Fine.
So let me put sickened on you really quick.
Let me give myself a second.
Sickening.
Sickness. Sickness.
Sickness. Come on, get down with the sickness.
Get down with the sickness. Okay, and now I'm gonna do that 3d4 persistent fire damage. Okay, Slay. Okay, Slay. This thing is bloodied.
Nice.
Falin, it's your turn.
I I'm going to use my first 2 actions to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna put it here.
Okay, I will put a circle there. Circle here. Hear it.
Bam. When I cast a spell, the weapon appears next to the foe in range and makes a strike. So I have to make a strike against it.
Okay. What kind of weapon is it, just for flavor?
I like to imagine, because I know I've cast this spell once before and I don't remember what I did last time. But right now I like to imagine that it morphs by being a bunch of those little motes of possibility and then shaping into a weapon. And this time I think it's shaping into not an exact clone, but another Bident.
That's cool. That's Slay.
Okay, I need to. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Dirty.
That does hit.
8 points of damage.
What kind?
Force damage.
Oh, Slay. Okay, good.
Yes. Oh. Okay, so that was those 2 actions. For my last action, I'm gonna cast Shield.
Yeah, shield's a good one. Awesome. So you get a +1 to your AC and you get a shield block reaction. Then next it's gonna be Motiva. Hi, you're really close to this snake.
I would like to spend an action to recover.
Okay, Slay, you are not sickened. You basically hack up a little bit as you are injected with a really, really high lethal amount of salt.
Okay. I will unsicken myself.
Unsicken.
And I'm gonna use Worms Repast on you.
What's that?
Oh.
I need you to make a Fortitude save.
Fortitude save, I will do so. So that's a nat 20 plus 16.
Well, my DC's 21.
It's a critical success.
No, no.
Then I'll go kill myself and jump off of this.
I'm sorry, you cannot jump off of this. You can't do that. Come back here. You can do it afterwards.
That's all I got then.
I'm sorry.
But I'm not sick.
But you're not sick, and that's
Yeah.
very important, legitimately. Okay, so it's Eleni's turn. Eleni cannot do that thing that they just did again. So... they are going to spend 2 actions to raise up one of their hands, and even though this is a cold winter day near the sea, the clouds break and a beam of silver moonlight is gonna try to hit this thing as they cast Moonlight Ray.
Ooh.
And that does hit. It is not a critical, but that's okay. Because this is a lot of damage. Ah! Sorry, everybody. This thing's gonna take a whopping 24 damage.
Ooh.
Sorry, I had to keep Lily from eating my dice.
That's fair.
Thank you. And then, with their last action, oh, they can't get over there, actually. They also cast shield. Heart.
Heart.
But it's this thing's turn, and it's gonna do something a little spicy. It is going to use 2 actions to do a breath attack. As it spews a ball of electricity aimed at Miva. So, Motiva, I need you to make me a reflex save. And then I also need Falin to make a reflex save. As the minute it goes to hit Motiva, it arcs to hit both you and Eleni.
Uh-oh. Well, that's 12.
12 does
24?
not cut it. 24 does cut it.
Can I
Yeah?
use turn back the clock?
Yeah. You should tell me what that looks like.
Oh, wait, is this a spell?
It is arcane.
You can go ahead, Sarah. I might be able to counterspell.
Oh. Well, I only have one use of this. So if you're gonna counterspell, I'd rather see if the counterspell works first.
You expend a prepared spell to counter a triggering creature's casting of that same spell. You lose your spell slot as if you had casted the triggering spell, then you must attempt to counteract the spell.
Okay. How do you figure out your counteract DC?
I
I will look. Okay. Counteract, okay.
One second.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, awesome. What you're gonna do for me then is you are going to roll a nature, because this is a creature.
Nature.
Nature.
Oh, Jesus. 22.
Yeah. Actually, you critically succeed that counteract.
Fuck you.
Um.
I'm gonna use that spell slot right now.
Okay, awesome. Do you want to tell me what that looks like? As it spits lightning at
I imagine it looks like Motiva just fucking bats it.
you. With like. the gun?
I'm sorry. I'm really bad at fucking descriptions in battle.
No, it's okay. I kind of like that though, is the thing. I like the idea that you're almost like ready. Like so many creatures from stories that you have grown up around are like dragon-like things that can breathe elements on you. And the minute you see this sort of ball lightning, because it's not a cone, it is going specifically towards you, you almost you wield your gun almost like a club as it's like shimmering with this ambient sunlight, and you almost like bat it away as if like something, the symbolism of the sun driving away a sea storm, something, you know?
I'm so happy I switched out shit to counter spell. That would have been so scary.
It was a very big ability, so it's very good that you did that. And this thing almost like reels back in like shock and anger, and then it's gonna try to bite you.
Bitch.
It gets one more attack, so it's just gonna try to bite you. Well, that might bite you. Is 21 hit you?
I need you to know you're talking to a mage. My AC is 19.
Oh, sorry, miss. Well, you're level 5. I never know. Where's my... There it is. You're gonna take 7 piercing damage.
That's fine.
That's a lot better than what it was gonna been.
Yeah, whatever the fuck else could have happened would have been a lot worse.
Okay, awesome. Falin.
Hey. Use my first action to sustain spell and make my spiritual weapon whack.
Give me a whack.
Whack, whack. That was almost a 2, and then it was a nat 20.
Ah, now 20?
Yeah, plus 11.
Yeah, that is a critical.
Critical! Okay.
Oh, I have to roll the persistence.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and give me your damage whenever you have it.
44 points.
How
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah?
No, wait. Sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Okay.
I rolled the wrong damage dice.
Okay. That was really high. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sorry. If this was a Searing Light fucking strike, I would've... Alright. This is gonna be the most underwhelming critical. 2. Okay, it's plus 4, so total 10. I rolled a 1 on the d8.
It's okay. How do you want to kill this thing?
Oh my god!
The persistent damage did a lot whenever I rolled it just a second ago.
I'm gonna have the Biden hover above its head and then have it strike down and fucking skewer it.
Yeah, you fucking skewer it. You almost like pin it to the ground next to the body that you assume it killed. As everybody comes down from the fight, and you see Eleni in particular, almost looking like the bident in their hands is like too heavy, as they like lean over against you, and they're like, oh my god.
Blood is holding on to them.
I'm gonna be.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be so real quick while that's going down. Motiva's not gonna be helpful. She's gonna like, bleh, and she's gonna use Moth Supper to heal.
Yeah, use moth supper to heal you. Bleh, your butterflies, and they go to get you snacks from these two corpses. So you can definitely do that healing. Falin, I would actually like for you to roll me. No, I roll this. It's recall knowledge.
Oh,
So you are holding Eleni as Eleni is like leaning on you. And this is not new. This is not a strange thing to happen. You have like at least attempted to lift Eleni before. Eleni leans on you a lot. Um, I can tell you that you realize that Eleni weighs half as much as they should right now.
Huh? Uh. Oh wait, because they're an oracle.
Mhm.
Oh, so they've been using their health.
Curse time.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have to be back.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna pause. I have to use the bathroom anyway.